Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. The publication of the 2018 and 2019 audited financial statements is where to start this episode. It's essentially part of a bigger picture of TAPE, transparency, accountability, and performance excellence being entrenched in the operations of the corporation. This action has attracted a great commendation from the federal government with very heartwarming details, even as the National Oil Company is relentless in the bid to keep growing the nation's hydrocarbon reserves on one hand, while endeavoring to bridge the gap between town and gown on the other hand. Find out what we mean in the details. The season of awards never quite ended with the ones conferred on the GMD not too long ago. Other members of the NNPC family are being celebrated. Find out who and who when we get to the details. Thanks for joining us. My name is Akin Agbejule. This is Oil and Gas Forum.
No panic to buy fuel for black market. NNPC go bring fuel for all motorists.
NNPC say them get fuel jabrata for ground. So therefore, no buy black market, no do panic buying, and no fuel day we go round.
NNPC, we touch your lives in many positive ways.
The Honorable Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Chief Timipre Silva, has commended the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) for the publication of its 2018 and 2019 audited financial statements, noting that the 2019 AFS indicates the losses dropped by over 91.9% and over 70.7% within 1 year. Chief Silva stated that he was very proud of the manifest achievements of the current leadership of the corporation despite all the challenges. Speaking further, the Minister of State said the fact that the corporation could boldly publish the audited financial statements was a giant stride, noting that it was the first in the history of the 43-year-old corporation. He was elated that the culture of transparency and accountability in NNPC was becoming deeply rooted, with the resolve of the leadership to bring down the production cost to $10 per barrel as targeted. He also reiterated the federal government's commitment to the passage of the Petroleum Industry Bill (PIB), which is currently before the National Assembly, maintaining that by the time the bill is passed, the NNPC will be enabled to operate as a profit-oriented commercial entity. Chief Silva said the President Muhammadu Buhari-led government has succeeded in taking the final investment decision (FID) of the Nigeria Liquefied Natural Gas Train 7 after being on the drawing board for a long time. He averred that government's ability to convince the investors in the NLNG business to further invest in the expansion of the NLNG production capacity at this critical point in time was a major achievement that should make Nigerians proud. According to him, another milestone achievement of this administration was the takeoff of the Ajaokuta-Kaduna-Kano AKK gas pipeline project, which he said was designed to transport the abundant natural gas in the Niger Delta to the northern corridor for the industrial development of the country. He posited that the National Gas Expansion Program was set to be rolled out on November 30, 2020, stressing that the initiative ties into everything the government was planning to ensure in the development of the midstream sector of the petroleum industry. Chief Silva said this will help the government in its bid to focus on the development of the abundant natural gas resources and also deepen its effective utilization to boost and bolster the Nigerian economy. The Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) has reiterated its resolve to grow the nation's hydrocarbon reserves to 40 billion barrels through reinvigorated exploratory activities at the inland frontier basins across the country. Group Managing Director of the NNPC, Malam Mele Kyari, said this while delivering a goodwill message at the 38th Annual International Conference and Exhibition of the Nigerian Association of Petroleum Explorationists, NAPE, where he was a special guest. Malam Kyari at the occasion said that commercial quantity of oil has already been discovered in the Benue Trough, with Nigerian geologists spearheading the efforts.
We're happy today that we have found oil, commercial oil in the frontier basin, particularly in the Benue Trough, and that is going to change the dynamics of our work and our understanding of the reef basin structure in our country. We never thought that we could find this level of success, but now we are there. And of course, more importantly, it was found by Nigerian G&G professional NAPE members of Refuge that we know, and we're proud that these are done by Nigerian geoscientists.
Malam Kyari said this year's conference theme, Accelerating Growth in Nigeria's Hydrocarbon Reserves, Emerging Concepts, Challenges and Opportunities, fits squarely into NNPC's key aspiration, which is to grow the nation's hydrocarbon reserves, reduce unit operating cost of crude oil production to $10 per barrel, and improve efficiency across its businesses.
We know that significant progress has been made. We have seen cut cost of the extent of to 20-30% now that we have seen that is happening today. So overall, by the end of 2021, as we think it is very, very realistic, we will see the $10 UTC cost by the end of the year.
According to him, the NNPC has made significant progress in improving operational efficiency through the adoption of technology and deliberate efforts to curtail soaring cost of operation across strategic assets. The helmsman of the state oil firm stated that in the face of the energy transition, the NNPC was focused on developing gas infrastructure and deepening domestic gas utilization, stressing that gas still remains the energy of the future.
As part of concerted efforts to reposition its operations, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, is collaborating with industry operators, research institutes, the academia, and policymakers to enable it adapt local resources and technology to grow its operations. Group Managing Director of the NNPC, Malam Mele Kyari, in his capacity as the Steering Committee Chairman of the newly established Research, Technology and Innovation RTI division of the corporation, inaugurated the NNPC RTI STEERCO in Abuja. He stated that the objective of the STEERCO was to use local capacity to reduce operating costs in the Nigerian oil and gas industry, create jobs for Nigerians, and create a favorable working environment for all players.
This is an industry that is important to all of us, not just about oil revenues, but about its ability to create jobs, create opportunities for Nigerian citizens. And all this can't work until you're able to have a clear direction around research, technology, and innovation utilization across board.
In his opening remarks, the Chief Operating Officer Ventures, Engineer Yemi Adetunji, said the aim of the STEERCO was to use technology and innovation to improve the operations of the nation's oil and gas business value chain.
We are committed, in NNPC to ensuring that we were able to move forward in terms of new ideas, innovation, and improvements in our business. I mean, one of the things that we've seen that GMD, management team NNPC has spared in is reduction in operating costs, for on the upstream to $10 per barrel.
The NNPC Research, Technology and Innovation RTI division was established on the 16th of March 2020 and was quickly positioned to deliver on its core mandates, with the leadership provided by the Chief Innovation Officer of the corporation, Mrs. Betty Ugonna.
This is to sustain incremental innovation to drive tangible improvement in our performance and efficiencies across the value chain and evolve new technologies that will support NNPC to maintain competitiveness and have an edge over their competitors.
The STEERCO was drawn from the NNPC top leadership to reflect its commitment to focus and provide high-level support for its success. It also comprises ad hoc memberships drawn from chief executives of Department of Petroleum Resources, DPR, Nigerian Content Development and Monitoring Board, NCDMB, Petroleum Technology Development Fund, PTDF, National Information Technology Development Agency, NITDA, and National Universities Commission, NUC.
In line with the management's resolve to boost the nation's daily oil production to 3 million barrels per day by 2023, the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC) and its partner, First Exploration and Production Development Company, have concluded arrangements to kickstart production in OML 83 and 85 joint venture JV assets with estimated addition of 60,000 barrels per day. Speaking at a symbolic unveiling of the new floating production storage and offloading FPSO facility for the project at the NNPC Towers Abuja to signal commencement of production, the Group Managing Director of NNPC, Malam Mele-Kyari, said the effort by both parties to bring the asset on stream after 42 years of discovery was a great move towards ensuring energy security for the country.
We're very proud that this project has come to an end. This project will ultimately deliver up to 60,000 barrels of oil per day from these assets, and this is a very great contribution to Nigeria's quest to reach the 3 million barrels per day target of before 2023.
In his remarks, the Managing Director of First E&P, Mr. Demola Adeyemi Bero, said his company has concluded arrangements to move the platform offshore in the first quarter of 2021.
We will move the platform offshore in the first quarter of next year. We'll drill the wells and we'll come on stream in around the middle of the second quarter of next year. So around May, June, Madu will come on stream, and we're targeting 20,000 barrels a day from Madu.
The delivery of the FPSO, named Abigail Joseph, marks the official commencement of production in the OML 83 and 85 assets, whose development has been on the drawing board for years between the NNPC and the First E&P. The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation was the center of attraction at the Nigerian Society of Engineers NSE Fellowship Award event, with the corporation bagging a special recognition award and 7 of its staff, including the Chief Operating Officer Upstream, Engineer Adokie Tombomie, conferred with the prestigious Fellowship Award. The Special Recognition Award was given to the corporation for its robust contributions to the development of the engineering profession in Nigeria. The president of the NSE, Engineer Babagana Mohammed, who presented the award to the Group Managing Director of the NNPC, Malam Mele-Kyari, at the International Conference Center, Abuja, said the corporation was a backbone to the visible development of the country and the engineering profession. He noted that NNPC has remained committed to offering free training to young engineers through the National Engineering and Technical Company Limited, NETCO, to assist in providing the manpower requirement in the oil and gas industry.
It is your responsibility to be role models for younger engineers and those who need inspiration to join the engineering family. I wish to inform you that from this day, you have joined the NSE College of Fellows, which is like the think tank of our society.
The NNPC GMD, who was represented by the Chief Operating Officer, Ventures and Business Development, Engineer Adeyemi Adetunji, said NNPC will continue to play a major role in growing the engineering profession, which is critical to the success of the corporation.
And bringing engineering personnel and non-engineers also in terms of upskilling them and giving them practical experience in terms of engineering. So I think in combination of all of that and how NNPC has contributed also to Nigeria's development as a whole.
On his part, the COO Upstream, Engineer Adokie Tombomie, said the award will spur him to bring his professional expertise to bear on his job by adding value to the upstream business of the corporation for the good of the country.
I uphold the ethics of the engineering profession, and at the CEO Upstream, most of my activities are connected with the engineering profession. So I'll do my best to ensure that my commitment and dedication to duty is upheld, and I'll continue to maintain the dignity of the profession.
Also speaking at the event, the managing director of NETCO, engineer Usman Baba, said the recognition will spur the company to continue to build capacity of young engineers and prepare them for the oil and gas industry.
NETCO train all Nigerian engineers. Yes, we are the only Nigerian company that train Nigerian engineers. So NETCO's responsibility is train Nigerian engineers to have experience so that they can be marketable in the industry.
High point of the occasion was the presentation of the awards by GMD of NNPC, Malam Mele Kyari, to the Minister of Power, Engineer Salim Mamman, Director of Department of Petroleum Resources, Engineer Sariki Owolu, and the COO Upstream, Engineer Tombo May. The NNPC staff who were conferred with the awards are Engineer Sagiru Adamu and Engineer Basi Esiet, who both described the Fellowship Award as a dream come true. Others are Engineer Ali Lawal, Engineer Adamu Paki, Engineer Michael Nnachi, and Engineer Frank Ikechukwu, all of NAPIMS.
This award of the Fellowship of the Nigerian Society of Engineers is very significant. It's the highest honor you can achieve in the engineering profession. And I'm happy, I'm grateful. I thank the Executive Committee of the Nigerian Society of Engineers.
This will spur me to do more because, one, you see that you are being recognized for what you are doing in the oil and gas industry.
And thank you for joining us on the feedback segment of the program. My name is Abigail Ojobo. The discovery of crude oil in commercial quantity in Nigeria in 1956 came with it economic growth, infrastructural development, and job opportunities in the oil and gas industry. Today, some Nigerians will share how the Nigerian petroleum sector has contributed to the growth and development of the Nigerian society.
We cannot deny the fact the oil and gas industry has really helped in boosting the economy of Nigeria. Nigeria in Africa is one of the largest producers of oil and gas.
Oil has been sustaining the country, and definitely it has brought about so many development.
Crude oil itself, I would say, is a blessing to Nigeria. Some have argued that it is a curse. I would say Nigeria as a nation where we stand today is a gift of crude oil. This is not to take away the blessings of agriculture to this country, but I would say if you take the capital of Nigeria, for example, Abuja, it's a gift of crude oil.
The resources from crude has been utilized by the government for development of infrastructure. To a reasonable extent, some of the roads, major roads we have in Nigeria crisscrossing the country, bridges, hospitals, schools, were built and developed. Even the 4 refineries we have today were built from the boom we once had as a country from the crude oil discovery.
During the oil boom, Nigeria saw wealth. There was a turnaround in Nigeria. Most of the things you see built by Gowon, most of the major infrastructures came as a result of the oil industry. Up to now, Abuja today is developed by money we generate from the oil industry.
If we look at in the terms of the oil companies sponsoring students and other infrastructures, they have also gained from them as well. In some states, like the Niger Delta state, they have helped in road constructions, you understand, and the welfare of people in the surroundings.
Yes, crude oil has been a blessing to us. It's a blessing to this country. And we thank God we were able to get the crude oil as early as 1956 in Oleibiri. And today, we can see what the crude oil has done to us.
From the responses, the oil and gas industry has been the mainstay of the national economy for decades, and it will continue to play pivotal roles in the years to come. That's the much we can accommodate. Please don't go away. The program continues. glad you could join us on this segment. My name is Faith Ayuba. Did you know that the inland frontier basins of Anambra, Benin and Benue acreages were allocated to several multinationals after signing a production sharing contract with the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC? Did you know that in the same year, a reinvigorated indigenous operatorship program was introduced through the allocation of blocks to indigenous companies who presently operate on sole risk basis? Currently, the NNPC has intensified exploration activities in the Kolmani River 2 well and Kolmani River 3 in the upper Benue Trough. Did you also know that the aggressive exploration activities in some of the inland frontier basins will enable Nigeria achieve her 40 billion barrels reserve base? Now you know. Keep watching. Global Crude Oil Outlook is next.
Hello and welcome to Global Crude Oil Outlook. Oil prices edged higher as hopes that the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, and its allies delay in a planned rise in oil output and a bigger than expected build in United States crude stocks and weaker U.S. retail sales resulted to a bullish market fundamentals. Brent crude futures for January rose 22 cents or 0.5% to $43.97 per barrel, while United States West Texas Intermediate crude for December climbed 6 cents or 0.1% to $41.49 per barrel. The Market Intelligence Department of the NNPC's London office reports that a committee of OPEC Plus ministers meeting recently provided few clues to how much oil the alliance will produce next year. The committee issued no formal recommendations ahead of an OPEC Plus plenary ministerial session to be held in 2 weeks' time. Oil prices have recently rallied in response to encouraging news about efforts to develop a COVID-19 vaccine, but there are concerns that demand for oil will remain weak heading into next year. Some members of the alliance are therefore arguing that OPEC Plus should hold off on plans to increase their output by around 2 million barrels per day from January 1, while others want to stick to the previously agreed schedule. Saudi Energy Minister Prince Abdulaziz bin Salman praised the efforts made by the alliance so far, but warned that there was no time for complacency. But an OPEC delegate said United Arab Emirates Energy Minister Suhail Al-Mazzouri had argued that all members must first implement their share of agreed production cuts in full before any changes can be made to the existing plan. In the absence of any such changes, current OPEC Plus production cuts of 7.7 million barrels per day are scheduled to be scaled back to around 5.7 million barrels per day from January 1. However, given the threat to demand from rising COVID-19 infections and the recent surge in Libyan oil output, some pundits say the cuts should be extended at the current level for 3 to 6 months or even increased. And that's it on this segment of the program. I am Owigo Okolo.
That's been the package of Oil and Gas Forum. Thanks for being the stakeholder. We appreciate your presence. On behalf of NNPC, have yourself a great week ahead.